Welcome to the City of Heroes podcast, a resource for the casual Heroes gamer.
Your hosts, Chooch and Viv, are here to explain basic and advanced features of CoH,
as well as give tips and answer your questions about this great MMO.
Hello, we've got breaking. Yeah, I can't do that. Hi, this is Chooch. I wanted to give a quick update with a couple of points related to this episode. First of all, it's very, very late. We recorded this at the end of August, and then we had to head out of town for an extended period and didn't get a chance to post it. I had actually edited most of it and didn't realize I hadn't finished it off, but couldn't while we were out of town, and then just realized that it hadn't happened. So I could have had it up and running about a week ago. But anyways, my sincere apologies for that, and didn't mean to delay this, more than it already has been. But also, since it's been a little while, there's a couple news items that are somewhat time sensitive and or just, very newsy news that you should know about. So I wanted to insert that here up front so you can have this new news, and then we will get into the full episode. Apology number 2, it's kind of long. It's just over 2 hours without this piece I'm adding here. So there were a lot of patch notes. There was a lot of new stuff on page 4, which you may have already experienced completely, or maybe you're not aware that there's a new page, new issue out. And, you should jump in and get on that goodness. Speaking of timeliness, it is the fall season is upon us. We are in October, and that means, as you can see on the screen here, spooky season approaches. Homecoming's Halloween event 2022. This event has now officially launched. It is going from October 4th to November 1st. And it has all the goodness that we have come to know and love from City of Heroes Halloween events. We've got our trick-or-treating, we've got giant monster hunts, and there are a few differences. There are some new trick-or-treating enemies, 5 new elite bosses. They can now spawn while trick-or-treating above level 25. We got ancient vampires, spectral werewolves, arisen mummies, crone matriarchs, and hollow reapers. These spooky new elite bosses will reward 5-fold experience and influence for each one defeated. So that's pretty sweet. As an added bonus, these elite bosses, which is here, also count for the older defeat badges. Spectral werewolves count as both werewolves and ghost defeats, so it's like a 2-in-1, hey? And as noted, they do spawn at a lower rate than other trick-or-treat enemies, and were designed to be tough. For the best results, trick-or-treat with a group. So, you get more bad guys for every door, and more of a chance of getting these elite bosses. They're really fun to fight. I fought a couple last night. There are some new Halloween badges that come along with these elite bosses, which is always great. And each of these badges will reward 2 of the new prismatic ether particle salvage as a bonus for a grand total of 10 possible on each character. We'll get into that later with the notes, patch notes. But it's essentially a new form of currency that one of the benefits will let you save some of these Halloween costumes to make them permanent, which is really cool. There's some other minor changes. And then, as I mentioned, we've got our trick-or-treating, we've got our giant zone monsters, we've got random zombie invasions happening, the Dr. Kane House of Horror trial, Atlas Park makeover, and Endless Night all over the place. So that's always a lot of fun. There's a post here on the forums. It's stickied, so it's easy to find it. And there is also a page on the Homecoming Wiki that has the same information presented in a wiki format, if you prefer that. Right under this announcement, Dacy had mentioned in the forums that she is again having her Halloween Extravaganza giveaway. And if you didn't if you missed this last year, or year before, Dacy she's an amazing base builder. First of all, she is amazingly creative and amazingly generous. If you've seen our castle base during streams, and well, you'll see it during this stream, the outside at least, Dacy had built that for us when she came on and did an interview about base building. And as part of the interview, she's like, well, it might be helpful if I could show, a new base being built. So maybe I'll build you guys one. And we were just blown away. She's so busy, first of all, but it's a big undertaking. And I must say, the results are just phenomenal. And we've gushed about that before on the episodes, but so Dacy's an amazing base builder. And she's also an amazing community builder. She's got a Discord. She has other base builders. She has tutorials on YouTube. And so she has this amazing haunted house that employs real-time NPCs, or real players playing NPCs to scare people who come into the base. And the base is it's insane. It's so big. It's so haunted house. It seems like, I don't know, it seems like not enough of a term, because there's just so many chambers and so many different sections, and the creativity is just off the hook. It's so much fun. It's so much fun when the scare actors are there. I helped out last year as one of the scare actors. I'm going to do so again this year. So part of this, as you can see, is giveaways. There are bases on all of the shards. She's having a little trouble right now getting Indomitable and Torchbearer bases populated to do giveaways. She's actually supplying a lot of the influence. She supplies the influence and supplies super packs and stuff to do part of the giveaway, which is a lot of fun. And of course, culminates with everybody heading to her haunted house, exploring that, and the dollhouse with X5 and Doll do a giant costume contest that aligns, with Dacy's extravaganza, where they will be giving away billions and billions of influence. That is a sight to behold too. And the last year, the costumes that people submitted were just brilliant. There were some really, really inventive things. So Dacy has a new forum thread specifically on Homecoming that you can do a search for, Halloween Giveaway Extravaganza. It has the code to get into her base, and that's going to be publicized all over the place. If you don't see it, I believe it's the same as last year, Boo-17189, which is on the Everlasting Shard, is the actual haunted house. And it'll be open. Sorry, I'm not seeing right here. I'm not sure if it's open right now, like if it's open all month, but I know that specifically for the week of Halloween, that's when they'll have the actual scare actors, and the Halloween weekend itself, specifically, that's when it'll be fully personed with all the moving parts and everything. So that's a lot of fun. So there's the time-sensitive news. Another piece of news, you may have come across this if you have tried to launch the CoH Modder. It stopped working. As near as I could see, it was beginning of August. Unfortunately, I hadn't launched it. I hadn't tried to use it until like today. So it's been down since August 9th, and it ends up, it's not a temporary thing, unfortunately. So on the forums, the Philotic Knight is the one who had created CoH Modder, and apparently they disagreed with something with the devs. It's not clear what happened. And, I don't want to start rumors or anything. I haven't done like any extensive searching on the forums to see what happened, other than there was speculation that Philotic Knight may have not been happy with something with the devs, some direction or something. So they Sorry. So it was down briefly on August 9th, and then they brought it back up. And then August 23rd is the first I see somebody else noticing error messages that it's down again. And in this time period, the Philotic Night changed their name on the forums from Philotic Night to Nope, took their webpage completely down, and just replaced it with Nope, I'm out. And with the web page down and the back end down, the CoH Modder tool stopped working correctly. It just flashes a bunch of errors because it's trying to get the web content, refresh the lists of, the mods and all that sort of thing. So it was very sudden, and there was some troubleshooting going on how to get specifically Vidiot maps working, because that was like one of the original people, that's what they were trying to do when they noticed that it was down. And that's when the speculation started that, it looks like Philotic Night has, pulled the project, decided it's something they don't want to do any longer, and pulled up stakes. And so some other people on the forums, were speculating about things, and user Michio, Michiyo, essentially said, well, guess I'm going to have to build my own tool now. And in response to that, Philotic Night, now known as Nope, put a zip file with all the source code and said, good luck. You could probably do better than I've done. Have at it. And gave the source code. And in the last few weeks, my assumption was, maybe they must be making that work again, because there was another post that by Michio, the City Mod Installer has been released. And you can see the layout is fairly similar, but they, I don't know if it's he, she, them, they did not use the source code from Philotic Night /Nope. Went ahead and created their 100% own application that handles the updates differently. And the backend's different, pig files, zip files. There's, stuff that if you want to know, you can look at the forum, they'll be happy to tell you about it. But part of this means that all of the mod developers who had created the different mods need to create an account on mods.cityofheroes.dev, which is where Michio has created their site, and they have to re-upload their mods. They have to create an account and upload the mods. To download mods, to download the tool, you do not have to create an account. And this is the website, City Modder. Welcome to City Modder. With the new mods posted up so far, Above the Chemist is the only one who has uploaded all of theirs. Michio also had a mod that they had created in the past. So that is on there now, and we're looking forward to, having this populated. A few people on the forums had the zip files from the previous CoH Modder and have offered, to repackage and put them up there. I'm sure the preference, is that the original authors upload their own mods. All right, well, that's enough for me up front. Let's head straight into the full podcast with Viv reading those patch notes. You don't have to hear me droning on. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. And we'll catch you next time. Good hunting, heroes. This is the City of Heroes podcast. I'm Juge. And
I'm
that's Viv. And we are here to discuss the issue. I'm sorry. No? Page 4. But there's still an issue. Issue 27, page 4. Patch notes, because it launched. There's new stuff. And people are doing it. People are doing the new stuff. So we thought we'd chime in and talk about it. We've been, as I said, I haven't launched the software in 3 months. We've been absent for a bit. We had done our 2 things. People are probably sick of hearing it. We did these 2 episodes about enhancements, and so we were going to do the 3rd episode, and still haven't actually recorded the darn thing. and may end up discussing it after this, possibly, depending on how long this goes. But the patch notes is such a huge thing and big change and all that, so we thought, well, we gotta log in and talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
XP Rich in the chat. We're discussing issues? Is this an intervention? Maybe.
It's so far past an intervention. There's no help to be had. We are just moving forward.
Right. And so we've done a lot of discussion about the podcast and about the game, about the reasons that we haven't had the time to actually do the City Fairs live podcast or record the other stuff. And we essentially need to stop making promises and just say very sorry. We haven't been able to do this.
Sorry.
And so, yeah, we're essentially going back on hiatus, kind of, sort of like, so we're not going to be doing new episodes like we were about, different game features and that sort of thing. Partially because, well, it doesn't matter. The main thing is that we're going to go ahead and keep doing these episodes when there is significant news in the Homecoming world or the other server world. So, we don't really follow those other servers very closely, but something like this, a big release, a page 4 release, that's news. And so we want to sign in and we want to continue to cover these sorts of things. But we're not going to be doing the other features anymore.
I mean, for those of you that have been with us since the beginning or from, our first cycle of podcast episodes, that we're casual gamers. We're casual. We don't have a lot of time. And with my health stuff, I don't get to play as much as I used to. So my loving husband games where I game mostly. And I'm grateful for that. But that also might be part of the problem here. And so we are going to do patch notes and fun things like that. But we're also like, us, it's literally, hey, wild hair up the ass. Let's talk about this. And then we'll poop out an episode without much planning. But hopefully a lot of fun will be had, and maybe a little information shared. We don't pretend to take this super seriously as far as like, we cannot make it into a weekly schedule, which people have asked us for again and again. We do not have the time right now or the spoons, if you understand that theory. But we are trying to focus our time on having fun with it. And we were losing that a little bit. And I'm sure you can understand. We just want to get back to the fun. And we will always do a podcast to share the fun stuff, because who doesn't want to share fun stuff? But again, like Chooch said, there's just not that much going on. Homecoming has released this big issue, which got us off of our asses. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot of changes going on. There's a lot of great content being created by players in the AE. There's a lot of great stuff going on in the forums. But I tend to take that stuff a little too seriously, and the chaos and the the chaos and the negativity keeps me from going there very often. So, this is not really any different than what you've experienced in the last probably 4 months. We aren't going to be doing a regular schedule is the punchline, the TLDR.
But the important thing is page 4's here. And we're going to go through those patch notes. As usual, we're not going to discuss every single bullet point and every little thing, all the little details, but we want to discuss the big things. And there are a couple significant changes that forum world and people have definitely been talking about, and we're curious to get people's take in the chat. What you think about it. You got the notes up, right, Viv? And then I've got them up here if you want to take it away.
I do. First, I want to thank Von Lightning, because I noticed that we have a new iTunes review from April 9th. And I really appreciate
Aw.
it, Lightning. Thank you so much. Says, I was a big fan of the game back on live and recently got back into it with Homecoming. Chooch and Viv are so much fun. And I've thoroughly enjoyed listening to their informative Homecoming content as well as their nostalgic content from live. They both have a lot of experience with the game and I love their dynamic personalities. Oh, thank you for the new.
Whoa!
Chooch and his cultured references and technical knowledge. The big brain. And Viv with her enthusiasm and kindness towards other players. They work so well together. Oh my gosh, that is so sweet. My favorites are probably their lore content and their explanation of game mechanics, which sometimes includes interviews with subject matter experts. Outside of the podcast, they are very active streamers, so it is fun to follow them there as well. Thank you so much, Fawn Lighting. That is just such kindness. I just was like, oh, wait, there's a review there. I hadn't read it before, and I just really appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
And I want to point out that we do have XP Rich here with us. And XP Rich is also Trauma Train Rich, you guys. I don't think we've done a podcast since you've launched your new endeavor. So I'm going to take, I know, patch notes are coming. I'm going to take a quick moment to just say that our dear friend and podcast, that's not working.
Yeah, that's on your channel.
That's right. I was like, so I never try to do shout outs on anybody else's channel. So there you go. But so Trauma Train Rich is now doing he's got his City of Heroes stream that he does with Trauma Train Rich. He also is now doing this new endeavor with 3D models and printing, and it's really fun. It's over at XP Rich. And that's in the chat. So, okay, now, hey, Grudge Monster, how's it going? Welcome. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out today. I hope you're having a great Saturday.
Welcome, Grudge.
Welcome, Grudge. How are you, Grudge? I don't know what I said out loud, but in my mind, I said hello to Grudge.
Oh, yeah, I got to play the sound alert.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's funny, the sound alerts are not playing for us for some reason, although I heard the first, second of it went whoop, and then gone.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear the sound alert play? Because Chooch has been having a heck of a time today.
I can see it going. I see the meters moving in OBS, so I know it's going through the stream. But for some reason, it just doesn't play for me. It's the weirdest thing. Oh well, not worried about it.
So the patch notes, they're long, guys.
Voluminous.
Yes, lengthy, in all the ways. So we're gonna, like Chooch said, we're not gonna read each and every line. We are gonna hit the bullet points and maybe talk about some of them. We haven't played any of the new stuff at all. I'm hoping that we might. It looks like we're going to be playing lengthy and girthy. Yes, Rich. I tried not to say that, but thank you. Lengthy and girthy. Grudge says, doing good, working lots of overtime. Things are starting to even out so I can get back into the game again. Yay, I'm so glad to hear that. I know what it's like, man. I know what it's like. Get to itching and jonesing for the game. So let's go ahead and jump in. Due to the large number, so this is Patch Notes issue 27, page 4. It launched on Tuesday, August 23rd. Work with me, microphone. Work with me.
One note, which is right here at the very top, I don't know why I didn't see it. Due to the large number of power changes, all characters receive a free respec. And because of the big costume change you'll hear about, everybody gets free costume change tokens for each of the costume slots they've unlocked. Each character. It says each player, but
All players will receive a free costume change token for each costume slot they have unlocked. So, yeah.
Right on. Every character, yeah.
Alrighty. So, what's new in issue 27, page 4? The marquee features are new incarnate mission content, Sister Valeria, which I think, if Chooch agrees, that's what we'll be doing in my playtime stream later tonight.
Yeah, sounds fun.
And it's a mission, not a task force, so it's not intimidating in any way. Everybody should get out there and play it. We'll probably, depending on how my throat is after reading these patch notes, we'll probably be reading it as we go as well. New power sets, Symphony Control, and Sonic Assault, which I'm excited to play Symphony Control. There have been a lot of complaints about it already, but we knew it was going to be noisy. Name release policy. We are in phase 1 warnings. I'll explain more of that later. I think I'm just going to go dip into the marquee features instead of reading what's coming. Let's not read the index. So incarnate mission content, Sister Valeria. Focused feedback, Sister Valeria's story arc. The new story arc, Dark Tidings and Glory. Cooperative, level 50 plus. Sister Valeria, a warrior of Bellona, has been assigned to Phoebus Point by Imperius's command to protect Sister Solaris from kidnappings and subterfuge. While there, she has taken it upon herself to make it as a discreet place to discuss the continued plague of the Romulan traitors, knowing full well that Marcus Valerius is soon to depart with the idol of Mott to the abyss. She will offer players the opportunity to make a grand gesture on behalf of the Cimarroran people, striking at the heart of the Dark Ones that still haunt the land and the people's dreams, despite Imperius's best efforts to eradicate them. Players will unravel a tangled web of time travel treachery and clean up loose ends as the omnipresent threat of the Nictus continues to fester, even after Romulus and Requiem failed in their plot to take over the ancient land. Meet new foes, new signature enemies, and witness the grandiose nature of the true Shadow Cyst, which has never been seen before. Stop the Nictus from upending the timeline with purloined knowledge. Interesting. That sounds super fun.
Yeah.
So she is, the story arc contact is Sister Valeria herself, Phoebus Point, Cimarrora, located on the upper area of Phoebus Point by the door that leads to the lower area. There's a thumbtack. I'm not going to read it. It's a bunch of numbers. This is incarnate content, and players will have access to all their incarnate shifts while on these missions. This content contains this incarnate Cimarroran traitors required for the Legate badge, Legate. Legate? I don't know. And it's, let's see, repeatable Cimarrora incarnate missions. Alexandra Sideris, located behind Sister Valeria. Unlocked by completing the first mission in Sister Valeria's story arc, offers infinitely repeatable missions featuring the incarnate Cimarroran traitor enemies. This is incarnate content, and players will have access to all their incarnate shifts while on these missions. Additional missions have been added, which unlock once you've completed Valeria's arc. Oh, that's nice. Repeatable, show up in rotation, and feature the Ravenna Conclave. New power sets. So I'm super excited to do that story arc, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I do enjoy the Cimarrora content so far. You know, there's not as much of it as like for other factions, but I do enjoy it.
And being able to do full, you know, that the fact that it's full on shifted incarnate mayhem. So
yeah,
there's not that many we get to use our full powers.
Yeah. So let's see, Symphony Control, new primary for controllers and dominators. Symphony Control will use the power of magic to captivate and control the spirits of your enemies. Most of your symphonic abilities influence the mind of your enemies, causing psionic damage. The powers include, and I'm just going to read the names of them, not the full detail. You know what we're talking, though. Range light damage, minor damage, psionic. It looks like it's all psionic. Yeah. So melodic binding, hymn of dissonance, aria of stasis, impassioned serenade, dreadful discord, enfeebling lullaby, confounding chant, chords of despair, and reverberant,
yes.
Reverberant. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. We'll sound it out, you guys. We'll get there. And then Sonic Assault is a new secondary for Dominators. Sonic Assault lets you use the power of sound waves to damage and weaken your foes. I do believe I'm seeing some that are the same. I think Shriek is one that we've seen from the Sonic power set before. So I'm expecting things to be just as piercing as you would expect. So Shriek, Strident Echo, Scream, Shockwave, Bass Boost, Deafening Wave, Disruption Aura, Shout, and Ear Splitter. And they all seem to be Smash / Energy. Yeah. Yeah.
I created a new Dominator to try this out. I made a Dominator Darkness and Dark and Sonic. And so I'm curious to see. I haven't played them at all. He's just level 1 in Atlas Park. Wait, no. I had created him as a villain for Wednesday because we were possibly going to play them Wednesday. So here's a villain, a Dominator villain. And the one thing for me, and although I haven't, played it yet, is that, there's a lot of these are, oh no, I'm sorry. There's only one cone. I was thinking of one of the other power sets. Shoot, which one was it? It must be the Symphonic. That's what I was looking at the two and thinking which one I was going to try out. And the fact that almost every single power is a cone, I don't like that. But we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. I tend to, I really like either direct damage with a higher output, or I like, it's a controller. But for controllers, I really, rather than a cone, I prefer, what is it? Not the point blank AoE, but like ranged AoE, right? So you do a single target and then it gets all the bad guys near them, because I don't want to go anywhere near them if I'm a controller. So I guess this is just a more in-your-face controller, right?
Yeah. More aggro heavy, so you'd want to be running. I mean, many people would rather, myself included, be running with somebody that's going to take that aggro and grab it off of me. Or have it initially before I do those cone attacks.
Rich says, I used my fool powers earlier. I like a nice pair of cones. You're using your fool powers now.
Oh my gosh.
Romulans and Mott's applesauce. Oh, for the the new mission.
So there's also, as mentioned before, the name release phase 1. We're in warning mode, kids. So the name release policy was described some time ago. I can read that real quick if y'all like. I'll skim over that real fast. Let me see if I can find it in this. Okay, so the thresholds have to be met. The following thresholds have to be met, and then characters will be flagged as inactive. Which means they are not immediately renamed. Their name is simply no longer locked. This allows another player to create a character with that name, at which point the original character will be renamed. You can remove the inactive flag on a character at any time simply by logging them in. So, it's not terrible. It's phase 1. And so level 1 to 5 characters will be flagged as inactive if they have not been played in the last 30 days. Level 6 to 20 characters will be flagged as inactive if they have not been played in the last 90 days. Level 21 to 49 characters will be flagged as inactive if they have not played in the last 365 days or a year. Level 50 characters will never be flagged as inactive. I think that part is very, very important. They are not trying to take our 50s away.
So here's my roster of shame. Here I've got some Disaster Mind, Beast Mastery, level 2, 210 days offline. So it has been flagged.
Yeah.
This would be subject to name release because you're clearly not dedicated to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm okay with it, but I don't have as many characters as others. And then I also, if I'm not going to play a character, I think it's okay for someone else to have it, as long as they play it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, don't take my name and camp it, because I can camp it. Like, no.
But yeah, it's one of those tough things because it is very frustrating when you think of a name and then boom, it's already taken. And so one would hope it's being played, but I know I have plenty, like I just showed, that I'm camping on. And it's a hard thing because the players, most players I've talked to, clearly do not like this. And the immediate response was, okay, so here's what I'm going to do to keep my names, right? So
Yeah.
just logging in and rotating through logging in and making sure, but still not playing them. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a problem it's going to end up fixing, other than people, I guess, will forget.
And then people that have like faded, they aren't playing it anymore. They've got like maybe 5 names, maybe 200 names that they've got on characters, and they haven't played since 2020 or something, So there's a lot of, I can totally see that they're gonna be pissed when they come back. But this is our modern life, you guys. Nothing is forever. Everything can be altered.
Rich says active player is active player. Inactive player, give up those names. But that's the fact. But you're not really an active player if all you're doing is logging in to reset the timer so your camped names don't get taken.
Yeah, I think it's more a way of saying, hey, I'm here. Don't nix my name because I'm still here.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that you've earned the right to that name or anything, because, 30 days is not very long for a 1 to 5, but people will rotate their logins for day jobs and other things. So, I don't know.
How it shakes out. And of course, they're not doing anything now, right? It's just a test.
Yeah.
It just lets you see, okay, this is,
Well, yeah. And I think, honestly, I'm going to be playing all of my characters up to level 6 because that protects them for a year as opposed to 30 days. And level 6, I'll know if I hate the power set. I can actually delete it at that point if I don't like it.
That's fair. Yeah, level 6 isn't that high of a barrier.
It's by the time you get into the DFB, you're level 6. So let's see what else.
Which is fixed now, right? There was a problem.
Yes, there was the patch on Wednesday that fixed. After they did this patch, they found a problem with the DFB, which I was going to read that patch note later.
Oh, cool.
But they fixed it the next day. They identified it really quickly, thankfully.
Rich, PL to 6, please. Rocks.
Yeah, that. So let's see. We're in warning mode only. The inactivity flag will be displayed to identify which characters have names that would be at risk. But while the system is in warning mode, no characters will be renamed and no names can be lost. The character list displays a yellow pre-warning icon, that little triangle with the exclamation mark, to give advance note. And boy, does it get your attention when you log in. Level 1 to 5 characters start warning 7 days prior, while level 6 to 49 characters start warning 30 days prior. At a later date to be announced, the system will be fully activated. After that point, the players will be able to create new characters using any of the inactive names, which results in the inactive character being renamed. There's a couple names that I couldn't get, even with I won't do crazy spellings unless it's a joke. Like electrocute, was just a joke spelling. But if I can't get reasonably close, I just go for a different name and redo the costume, usually. I'm not going to, contort to get it. But there's a few I'd be interested to see if they're available when they finally do make that live. So let's see. New advanced difficulty for the Imperious Task Force. ITF is getting a new advanced difficulty, you guys. I have not seen if Joker's been playing yet, but be interesting to see if he takes that challenge. Advanced difficulty mode has been added to the ITF, accessed from the challenge settings window before starting the content. Playing on advanced difficulty adds new elements to the content that make it more challenging, but also provides an opportunity to earn greatly increased and unique rewards. Advanced difficulty includes a brand new boss fight and badge for defeating them. like the Dr. Aeon Strike Force that introduced the advanced difficulty system. Yay! This new mode comes in 4 higher difficulty level options above default. Setting specifics listed below also apply and to the Aeon Strike Force and should be referred to as the most up-to-date advanced difficulty mode information. The default is heroic/villainous, depending on if you're on blue side or red side, or whether you're a hero, whether you're a villain or a hero. Normal difficulty, this is what the option is set to by default and doesn't change the content in any manner. Tenacious/malicious. This content is balanced around everyone on the team having Tier 1 incarnate powers. Enemies have access to additional/improved powers. Certain enemy groups can sometimes have elite/bosses spawn in place of bosses/lieutenants in regular enemy spawns. Ooh. Access to exclusive challenge encounters and mechanics not found in the default difficulty. Arch-villain and giant monsters have incarnate base hit chance of 63.75%. Certain powerful AVs and giant monsters have double base health with normalized regen numbers. No additional enemy stats or defeat rewards. Players are unable to use non-revive super inspirations. And in addition to all standard rewards, completion of this difficulty will reward 15 reward merits. So that's an addition. You get another 15 reward merits. I don't think I'll read through the next 2, but I am going to read through the top level, Invincible/Relentless, so that we can get an idea of, we know what base is, we know what the first level is, what does the 4th level look like? Invincible Relentless. This content is balanced around everyone on the team having Tier 4 incarnate powers. The mission difficulty is locked at +4 and the team size at ×8. Enemies have access to additional and improved powers. Certain enemy groups can sometimes have elite bosses or bosses spawn in place of bosses and lieutenants in regular enemy spawns. All enemy classes have inherent magnitude 10 confused protection. Bosses and elite bosses have magnitude 10 knockdown protection. Access to exclusive challenge encounters and mechanics not found in the default difficulty. All enemies receive the following, baseline buffs. Oof. So it's a +20 to +20 resistance to lethal smashing. +30% resistance, all but smashing lethal. +30% defense to all. +40% damage to all. And +30% to hit for a 66-foot perception radius. Damn. AVs and giant monsters ranked enemies have incarnate base hit chance of 63.75% as well as a +1 level shift. AVs and giant monster ranked enemies will reward 9 reward merits per defeat. Certain powerful AV and giant monsters have double base health with normalized regen numbers and will reward 15 reward merits per defeat. Wow. Per defeat. That's an important 2 words.
Yeah. Wow.
15 merits per defeat. All enemies reward 40% more XP and influence. Holy crap. Players will be unable to use temp powers or any non-revive inspirations. In addition to all standard rewards, completion of this difficulty, will reward 60 reward merits and an incarnate reward table containing your choice of a random incarnate salvage, an Empyrean merit, or 2 super inspirations. That's a nice list of rewards, but wow, that's a long list of challenges.
Yeah.
We haven't done it yet. Obviously, as you know, we're casual, and if we are able to get on a team that will run those higher level things, I'm definitely going to do it. But that's not something that I'm going to be like spearheading soon. I'll leave that to our gamers. But I do want to see Joker play through it. I can't wait to hear what he thinks.
Rich says, Taxi said the new mode ITF kicked her buttocks. Sounds tough.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why it's tough. That's why I want to see Joker.
Sounds like a job for the Dark Pistachio.
Oh, wait. Wrong.
Hey, I heard that. Oh, that was from your... Nice.
Yeah, that's from my board. Let's see. Advanced. So our next bit of info here on the patch notes. Advanced difficulty improvements and new reward currency. Difficulty level adjustments. The labels on advanced difficulty levels now include a star rating from default to 4-star. These will be consistent between task forces and strike forces, and when the standard labeling moving forward, and will be the standard labeling moving forward for all content with these options added. This update includes this new difficulty. Oh, good, you're showing. Includes new difficulty mode icons to go with them, and it's the ones we saw for them. Description above 1, 2, 3, and 4. Advanced difficulty mode content played at 2-star or higher now includes additional reward modifiers to all experience and influence earned from enemy defeats. Any unresistible damage. Oh, so 2-star gives you a 20% increase, 3-star 30%, 4-star 40% increase. Made it easy for us. Unresistible damage that was using flavor labels like ripple or void damage are now standardized and read as special damage in all locations they're found. The 2-hit buff granted by tactics on enemies in advanced difficulty now has max stat caps that match the star count of the difficulty level chosen. Interesting. Example, if playing on a 4-star difficulty, tactics 2-hit can be stacked up to 4 times maximum on enemy mobs. If on a 2-star difficulty, tactics 2-hit can be stacked up to 2 times on enemy mobs. The other buff components of tactics are not capped. Interesting. Challenge option fixes. Challenge are AVs that have double base HP have had their regen reduced by 20% approximately to be closer to their designed intent, as the scaling calculations were slightly off. All disable modes are now infinite duration and persist through death, which eliminates some circumstances where disabled inspirations or temporary powers could be used. And then prismatic ether particle salvage rewards. What? Prismatic ether particle salvage rewards. Completion of content.
Shiny.
It's so shiny. Completion of content on advanced difficulty settings now rewards an exclusive salvage currency called prismatic aether particles that are used to purchase permanent costume powers covered in the next session. They're capped at 2,000 on how many can be carried at once by a single character. Wow. Yeah. Oh no, so if you try to run advanced difficulty, you can't do it more than 2,001 times without having to manage your inventory there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm going to hit that right away.
Completing the weekly strike target for the first time each week on a max level character that receives a notice of the well salvage will also earn 1 to 2 prismatic ether particle salvage, depending on the length of the content completed. Okay, phone. That was a cute time for an alert. The standard bonus from completing a mission map at any level includes a 1 in 50, 2% chance to drop a prismatic ether particle. Prismatic ether particle salvage is not account bound and can be freely traded, sold on the auction house, or stored in SG-based salvage storage bins. The reward cooldowns for the PAR, or no, the PAP. Yeah, prismatic ether particle. So for the PAP reward, you guys.
Okay.
Rainbow Elf. Let's see. Advanced difficulty content works on a 4-tiered drop system where there are 4 difficulty level rewards each with their own 18-hour drop lockouts. Completing content on advanced difficulty rewards the maximum value on the difficulty minus any completions of lower values from the character on the same day. I'm not going to go into deep detail, but I will read the example. Completing the Dr. Aeon's Strike Force at 1-star difficulty will reward 2 prismatic aether particle salvage. You get 2 PAPs. If the same character then completes the Dr. Aeon Strike Force at 3-star difficulty within 18 hours, they would only receive 5 plus 6 prismatic ether particle salvage since the 2 from the earlier run was already rewarded. These are current PAP drop totals for the advanced difficulty content.
Clear. I didn't say it. Rich typed it. Smear those drops.
You know, I have feelings. I have feelings. But yeah, that seems pretty straightforward. We're pretty used to it from the Dr. Aeon Strike Force, and that change in difficulty has been lauded by a lot of people. People just love it. Lauded means love, right?
Yes.
I used a big word without verifying its meaning before I did it.
Not account bound, can be freely traded to other players, sold on the auction house, or stored in supergroup based salvage bins. So really curious to see how that what do those come out to? What is how they hit in the auction house?
I mean, I can look.
I guess we can leave the auction house, right? Seeing where they're gonna level out. Yeah, I'll go look. You keep reading.
So the Incarnate Trials work on a 3-tiered drop system where there are 3 rewards each with their own 18-hour drop lockouts. Completing a trial rewards the tier it belongs to and any under it. This allows some flexibility on doing Incarnate Trials without pressure to do every single one daily. It gives a higher reward cap if the more difficult / longer trials are chosen, while also not making them competitive with advanced difficulty, which is intended to be the primary source of this currency. Alrighty, so the advanced difficulty stuff is where they expect you to get it. You must qualify for full rewards in order to receive any prismatic ether, meaning you participated in every stage of the Incarnate Trial. This eliminates any potential leeching by AFK players. Let's see. So the BAF will give you the tier 1 Incarnate Trials are BAF and Lambda. Those will give you 1 prismatic, 1 PAP, and they will each give you 1 PAP salvage. Incarnate Trial tier 2 are Keys, Island Reactor, Dilemma Diabolique, Minds of Mayhem, and Magisterium Trial. Those each give 1 plus 1, so 2 prismatic ether salvage. And then the Incarnate Trial tier 3 are in Underground and TPN, and those each give 3. Mm-hmm. 1 plus 1 plus 1.
So there are currently only 102 for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And the last few have sold between 21 and 28 million.
Oof. Rich says 16 million. I guess it depends on weekday
time of week
prices. Yeah.
It'd be Saturday.
Weekend tax.
People were hitting them up last night, probably, right?
Yeah.
But only 102 for sale. Wow.
Yeah. The permanent NPC custom power rewards for prismatic ether and purchasing costumes. These are new reward offerings that are purchased using the prismatic ether salvage earned primarily through completing advanced difficulty content, but can also be obtained over time from the first weekly strike target completions on a max level character or purchased from other players. Previously, these costumes were only available as prizes from homecoming contests or events. While those prize costumes were granted to all the characters on an account, all costume powers purchased with prismatic ether salvage are only per character. Otherwise, these purchasable costume powers are the exact same powers that were given out as prizes and let you change your appearance to match the look of an NPC. And they have a Coralax, a Freak Show, a Knives of Artemis, and then a Gunslinger. I forget who is Gunslinger Malta. It looks like Gunslinger to me.
Yeah.
Did not enlarge the image. The Benevo Labs hologram vendors. These costumes are sold from the Benevo Labs there you go. The hologram vendor that you see on the AE, that whole thing. It didn't enlarge for you either. How about that?
Which the tabs? Yeah, it just opens it as a file.
Yeah, it didn't enlarge.
I can zoom, it gets all blurry.
Yeah. Let's see. The NPCs found within the Vault Reserve stores and anywhere in the game. The new NPC vendors also explain how and where prismatic ether particle salvage is obtained. So it takes you through a dialogue script. There are 4 tiers of permanent costume powers: standard, vintage, deluxe, and vanguard. Any costumes that have multiple looks depending on your body type or gender have been marked mode costumes. Mode costumes have a 50% prismatic ether particle salvage cost increase relative to their respective tier. All of these costumes have the same restrictions. What?
Sorry, Rich in the chat. I'm going to go buy all the PAPs right now and transfer them to one of my camped names. The most hated villain in City of Heroes
is Rich. All of these costumes have the same restrictions as previously existing costume powers, prestige powers, standard tier 1 costumes, gray agent. Yeah, so it just breaks down all of the different types of costumes, I guess, that you can buy. It looks like holographic matrix system. Purchases the hologram badge. Oh, so yeah, they've associated all kinds of badges with these. All right, so let's go on to powers and gameplay, because I'll be honest, I don't feel like reading all that detail in the costumes when I'm not even halfway through the yet. All of this is available at forums.homecomingservers.com, and then just search for page 4 patch notes.
Yeah, just go to homecomingservers.com and it's right there, the patch note, link to patch notes.
Yeah, for the deep detail. Hey, Jax, how's it going? Happy Saturday.
As well as links to the specific forum topics that each one of these has its own discussion forum topic to talk about it in depth. So if one of them sticks out to you, you can go and argue with people about it specifically.
What is it you call it, Rich? The best PvP in City of Heroes is over at the forums.
Naked Rickety is an option? Lol.
Naked Rickety was always an option. So let's see, powers and gameplay adjustments.
Go.
Enemy aggro revamp. Enemy aggro behavior adjustments. The aggro cap has been reworked to be less obvious and intrusive to gameplay. Boy, have I heard some opinions about this. The aggro cap is still 17. If a player exceeds the cap, the AI will prefer any other valid target. This means in a team environment, there is no change to enemy behavior. If an AI-controlled enemy has no valid target due to them all being at the cap, it will choose the capped target with the highest threat that is in range and use opportunistic ranged attacks. They will no longer mill about, oblivious to the action going on around them. Enemies that are beyond the cap will not pursue players that move out of range. Aggro cap processing is more dynamic. Instead of using a rigid priority system, it now uses a simplified version of the normal threat calculation, taking into account distance, total damage done, taunt duration, and rank. It is also periodically reevaluated instead of being locked in. This should prevent scenarios where an aggro-capped tank tries to taunt enemies off an ally, and the taunt is completely ignored. Player pets, including mastermind pets, ignore the cap. This change was made some time ago, but is still in effect even with the revamp. The goal of this change is to make it feel like there is no aggro cap at all, but still retain the desired game mechanics of a single tank being unable to maintain threat on a herd of an unlimited number of foes. I know people have opinions about aggro caps.
I think this is probably the most contentious change, because there's a lot of people who want no aggro cap, but instead of just going and playing on Cake, they still want to play here, so they just bitch about it. No, that's rude. But no. Yeah, no, a lot of people don't want an aggro cap. A lot of people want to be able to herd an entire map. The NCSoft clearly didn't like that. The game studio never intended that. I think it's hilarious that people can, herd way too many things and get killed by them. But, yeah, it's one of those things.
If you have any complaints about Chooch's comments, please address them directly.
XP Rich doesn't affect me much.
Yeah. Let's see. Attack typing adjustments. NPC attack type adjustments are the attack typing. Let me say that. I don't know I've ever said that ever, and I've now said it 3 times in 6 words. The attack typing on all NPC attacks have been revamped to only check against up to 1 positional defense and up to 1 type defense. Various critter damage types adjusted. Various grenade explosive powers that were formerly lethal smashing have been set to fire lethal. It just seems like a lot of information on something that's kind of boring. Attack type adjustments. All player attack powers now use 2 attack types. All attacks will now have up to 1 positional defense and 1 type defense it will check against. Various player damage types adjusted. All player or mastermind pet attacks flagged as ranged that were spheres or cones have now been set to AoE attack. So it looks like they just did, some housekeeping.
Yeah. We got a couple comments from Jax on the taunting limits. Aggro caps, sorry. He said it's great, which I think is associated with the same thing. And if you have a tanker that's virtually immune to damage type X, it's really broken if they can taunt 50 plus mobs. True. Broken and super fun, but yeah, no. And it's a mechanic in the same vein as target caps on AoE powers. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And honestly, a lot of people I've seen, isn't that they want unlimited, but they think it's too limited, like 16 is too low. I've seen like X5 in the Dollhouse was saying he thinks 24 is the right number, but then there is, what is the right number? He likes 24. Maybe some people like 16 is, well, maybe 32 is the right number, or is it unlimited? So, yeah. It would be interesting to see if that could be something that could be slid and changed as a challenge thing, but who knows? I'm sure they'll land on a, they're going to hear what everybody's saying, so they'll land on, on a happy medium, and 16 might be it. It's hard to say with the other changes to make it feel better, right? And to let you taunt bad guys off of friends.
Yeah. Not to be pedantic, but it is 17 is the aggro cap.
Oh, sorry. 17.
No worries.
Jack says it's fun for the tanker, not fun for the other players.
And it ultimately boils down to this is Homecoming's flavor. So I feel like they do a pretty good job listening, and what they decide is what they decide. And like you said, there are other servers. I hate to think of people leaving for something like that. I think that there's so much more in the community so much more in the game than just that. But if that's a deal breaker for some people, then that's their flavor. You can't give them shit for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
I like the HC dev team also, Rich. I like them a lot. I think they do a good job.
Jax's other. I don't think most spawns are 16 mobs, so you can taunt more than a spawn. And taunt is an AoE that hits 5 targets. Yeah. Yeah, like our friends used to say, our author friends giving away free content on podcasts. If you don't like the flavor of the free ice cream,
yeah,
you can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of flavors out there.
Yeah.
Oh, Rich taunted more than one spawn this morning.
Oh, Lord.
Did you drop a pap?
Oh, my God. Stop. Okay, let's see. Let's move on. Powers Sonic Attack Revamp. Corruptor's power set name, Sonic Attacks, has been changed to Sonic Attack. From Sonic Attacks with an S.
Plural to singular.
Mm-hmm. All Sonic attacks are now tagged as energy attack, and they no longer check against an enemy's smashing defense. Changes to resistance debuffs for all archetypes. All Sonic attacks now apply to Sonic vibration debuffs. Defender values shown below. The various Sonic vibrations are short, incremental, wide, or extensive, and it breaks it down. Yada, yada, yada.
Right on.
Changes to Sonic attack. There are changes to multiple Sonic attack. So Shriek, Scream, it breaks down these little these things. They break things down like Siren Song, damage set to 1.1902 scale, cast time reduced to 1.86 seconds, plus 256% DPA. Cooldown
No way.
Seconds. It was 20 seconds. Max targets set to 16, non-sentinels only. So that kind of stuff. They've got that kind of information for all of the Sonic attack stuff. Additional notes: Corruptor's Scream and Howl now matches all other ATs as intended by the design formula. Previously, Scream did a 1.40 scale and Howl did 1.0 scale. Defender's Shout accuracy reduced to 1.0x was 1.2x. This matches all other archetypes. And then they've done some more housekeeping to Ice Control for Cold Snap. Ice Slick now does damage. Did you hear me? Ice Slick now does damage. It now accepts accuracy and damage enhancements and ranged AoE and universal damage sets. Damage will only apply to enemies that are not asleep. Let's see, Cold Snap. Basically, the cooldowns increased from 30 to 40, and it's now accepts ATOs, fear enhancements and sets, added a scaled feared cone 10 that hits in a 50-degree arc. So you guys, that's why I don't want to read all this stuff. We're just going to pick and choose. Arctic Air now has overpower and domination effects. No longer affects fear enhancements or sets. The power never applied a fear effect. Oh, burn. Armor set toxic psionic mitigation changes for stalkers. Hide now grants psionic and toxic defense. That's pretty tight. And then changes to invulnerability. Adds a 1.67% toxic and psionic defense for the first target, 0.33% for additional targets. Some stuff renamed, adding toxic and psionic defenses. Yeah. Invulnerability got a little bit more invulnerable. Ice armor also is adding psionic and toxic defenses. Same thing with energy aura. And weave of the fighting pool now grants toxic defense.
Huh.
You what, Rich? Or Chooch, what were you going to say?
None. I was just laughing at wet ice. Ice armor. Wet ice all ATs. You mean water?
I mean, there's a difference. Dry ice. Let's see. Toggle suspension is new tech. Toggle suspension allows toggles to pause their periodic activations when under specific modes, e.g. granite armor and Keldian forms. This means the toggles will stop working and stop costing endurance while in one of those modes. Once you leave the mode, the toggles will resume automatically without the need to retoggle. Once the toggles are suspended, you will no longer be able to activate it or deactivate it until you come out of mode that caused the suspension.
Cool. Hi, Taxi.
Yeah.
We got a giggity from Taxi.
That's pretty cool. That makes it easier for people that have to change. Oh, hey, Taxi, how's it going?
Frothy wet spot. Oh, Rich, wet ice or frozen moist?
Frozen moist. Oh, sounds painful. Let's see. Tank and brute, stone armor, granite armor. Yes, same kind of thing. Suspends it. Also suspends travel toggles. Suspended toggles cost no endurance while running. That's nice. It sounds like they did some nice housekeeping stuff here.
Yeah, well, quality of life.
Yeah, toggle suppression, no more offensive toggle drops. Toggles that used to drop when mezzed will instead have their effects suppressed while mezzed and for 5 seconds after breaking out of a mezz.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yep. That's a little mental boner right there. I like that. Enhancement slotting fixes. And then there's a lengthy list. I'm not going to read one by one. But blasters, Leviathan Mastery, Knockout Blow, Controller, and Dominator. Looks like, yeah. They did some,
Yeah, they removed the ability to slot some things and added the ability to slot other things, so.
Well, and it looks like most of it never should have accepted these IO sets.
Right.
Powers plus recovery is not enhanceable, so they removed the ability to, which is brilliant because not everybody's paying attention.
It'd be a waste of money.
That's a real nice thing. That's a kindness to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Lushy wetness. You can do that to spot the boner. No. It's a skill. And then let's see, power bug fixes, all for ice control. Flash freeze fixed a bug where the sleep would sometimes not work as expected. Now deals 100% cold damage. Controller version now does containment damage for 100% of base damage. Power no longer shows sleep attributes twice in the power info. Power icon fixed to a proper sleep icon. Yeah. Dear. Standardized all versions of Knockout Blow. XP Rich, she mentioned how lengthy and girthy the patch notes are earlier. I did mention it.
Whoa.
Let's see. And then again, more of these just like housekeeping. All/smoke flash. Set the power to no longer notify enemies of the attack. So it's going to be smoky and they won't know why and they won't look around and try to find out. That's nice. All Titan weapons fix some bugs with stances. Oh, Dominator and Stalker, Savage Melee, and Assault Rending Flurry. Had its endurance cost set to 20.8. It's been reduced to 13.52. These are all just like pennies and nickels of changes that are going to make, I think, things more fun for the players.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of like minutia.
Yeah. So if anybody in the chat has a favorite, I'm not going to call it out. But we're not going to redo them all.
Rest no longer applies a resistance to stun/sleep debuff. Didn't know it did.
Resist. Huh. Sure, it wasn't supposed to.
Incarnate Lore, Knives of Vengeance, Rallying Cry remove teleport protection, which caused players to be unable to teleport by their own or allies' teleport powers. This power already gives 100% teleport resistance, which makes players immune to enemy transport teleports. Interesting. They added the Fiery Embrace effect for Tanker, Ice Melee, Frozen Aura. Oh, Prestige Power, Prestige reveal now plays the full animation on all body types and alignments. The color of the scanner UI is dependent on whether you're a hero, vigilante, villain, rogue, or praetorian. And these are lengthy. And again, you guys can go to forums.homecomingservers.com if you want to read each of the minutia. Miscellaneous power updates. For example, Prestige Travel Athletic Run added the travel stance tag and will now pull a stance animation if one of using the travel only options. Radiation infection all except Cray. Cast time is reduced from 3.1 to 1.5. That's nice. No fade version that does not hide their model for the Warshade Shadow Cloak. Ooh, experimentation. The syringe object used in the various powers from this set are now tintable. And change the color of your serum. Combat log should indicate when damage is unresistible. Stances fixed an issue with many attack animations being interrupted by ninja and beast stances. Side effect from this fix is that most sets will not re-enter the ninja beast stance until they move. Jack says the walk stance changes are nice. Yeah. Hey, Mr. $1 Million, how are you? Welcome. How's it been? How you doing?
Hi.
What up?
Good to see ya.
Happy Saturday to you. Incarnate interface damage over time effects should now apply to enemies that are not asleep. Various electrical melee attacks now do majority energy damage. All electrical melee thunder strike and chain induction inflicts 100% energy damage, as does stalker electrical melee assassin shock. All gravity control propel change the splash knockdown into a vectorized knockdown. Hopefully will allow the KB to KD IOs to work reliably in propel, which has the main target getting hit with both knockback effects and the knockdown effect, which ignores strength, thus is not affected by the KB to KD IO.
Wow.
Oh, some updates to PvP. Yeah, happy Saturday. So what do you like most of this, the walk stand? Is that like your favorite? Like, what's your favorite of all the changes so far, Jax? I know you've been playing this week. We have lots of PvP power changes and fixes. A lot. Added DDR to PvP for all ninjutsu ninja reflexes. PvP accolade indestructible now does 20% defense for all, 30% resistance all for 60 seconds. Previously, it was a combination of demonic aura and eye of the magus. Magus? Magus? Gif?
Magus.
That's what I thought. Let's see. Tough Hide now grants psionic toxic defense. My female alts don't seem super slutty walking around. Is that good or bad?
I think it's good.
I like a good slutty walk. I'm like, oh, you like Symphony Control? I can't wait to play it. Can't wait to play it. I'm sure it'll give me a headache, and I'm waiting for CoH Modder to have something nice that I can pop in there. But I'm excited to try it. The animations are so pretty. I'm such a music fiend, you guys. Let's see. Stone Armor, Granite Armor now grants psionic defense. Stone Skin also. Yeah, just a bunch of PvP changes. Mental Manipulation Scare now does Mag 3 Terrorize in PvP, same as PvE was Mag 2. Day Job Time Traveler's Boon. This power is no longer usable in PvP arena like all other Day Job powers. I'm glad they're cleaning stuff up. I like when things tidy. Things are tidy. And if it's available in one, why isn't it available in the other? Power description fixes. Just fixing descriptions, you guys. That's what they're doing. They're cleaning up the world for us. Good
thing to do. Rich gave all of his huge model characters the slutty walk. Ajax really likes the symphony control. And Taxi says Symphony, Sonic, and Beam Rifle hurts her brain. Hurts my brain.
That's why I decided not to to try Symphony out on the brainstorm beta tester or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I know it's going to give me a headache, so I'm just going to wait until the final version is launched. I assumed it was going to be like Sonic. It just looks really pretty, so I'm hoping. I don't know. And there's not a way to just turn that shit off. You lose the whole game sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I don't guess I've played with beam rifle folks that often. I never do guns myself, so I don't really know what that sounds like, but I will take your word for it and avoid it.
And of course, there's mods for a bunch of them. Obviously,
Yeah.
there need to be mods for the new stuff. I'm sure there will be.
So yeah, there's just a bunch of, they were correcting a lot of descriptions to go in line with what the powers actually do, which is good. Typo fix sweep. The following powers were reported as inaccurate in the bug forums. Report typos here thread. The powers have either new descriptions, short help descriptions, or both. So yay.
Super
Because I tell you
duper.
what, I used to do editing for documents in my former life, and I see that shit as like a big red. This is wrong. Standardized critical hit tags for scrappers. These changes do not affect gameplay unless otherwise stated. They are under the hood changes that remove redundancy and allow for simpler implementation for future development. And we love those words, don't we, y'all?
Right.
These notes are posted for transparency to those who are interested in these types of changes and to allow for a debug point if these changes were to have caused unintended bugs not yet discovered. These are some detail-oriented folks, y'all. Crit small, crit large, crit player tags. However, ML crit has been a misnomer as it implies it is for minions and lieutenants, but lieutenants are always dumped with the boss crit effects. Rather than convert kinetic melee into using the most popular convention, it's been chosen to use the more accurate convention for all powers. Crit small is for critical hit effects that apply to rank minion or smaller. Crit large is for critical hit effects that apply to rank LT or larger. Crit player applies to PvP. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then more of the same for martial arts. We have some placate fixes also for stalwart. Let me just combine words now. That'll make it easier.
Stalwarts.
Stalwarts, yeah. Stalker, Night Widow, and Bane Spider placates. The K meter effect. This sets your hidden status. Now ignores combat mods. This bug prevented seeing the green hidden icon when using placate on foes higher level than you. This bug allowed stalkers the ability to get a hidden crit and non-hidden crit when using placate against enemies greater than +1 relative level. Bane Spider's placate added the missing mission objective click cancel event to the stealth, hidden, translucency, and 2-hit buff effects. Night Widow Placate fixed a bug that had the placate effect only happen against the main target in PvE. This has been moved to the intended PvP placate effect. That was a big gasp, Chooch.
Well, no, I was just realizing the Bane Spider placate thing that I'm guessing that would mean that they could stealthily click objects and get away with it without notifying the bad guys. So it
Time
will
to play the
feel
stalker.
like a Murph to some people.
Yeah. We have Mastermind Mercenary bug fixes. Mercenaries were not displaying assault rifles during full auto, and they sped up DOT duration to match the new animation, like on power versions of the power. Soldiers now have the correct powers assigned and revoked per upgrade. Equip Mercenaries applies ASMG Heavy Burst, does not grant Assault Rifle Heavy Burst. Tactical upgrade now applies all assault rifle powers and removes ASMG powers appropriately. Temporal Warriors, instant level 50 PvP characters. At a character's creation, new primal characters can now tick a box called Temporal Warrior, PvP only. This is not available for existing characters or Praetorians. I like how Praetorians is separate from existing characters. Or Praetorians. Those guys. Old side, whatever.
Weirdos.
Alternate universe. Characters created with this box ticked will spawn on Recluse's Victory and can only access the 4 PvP zones. Bloody Bay, Siren's Call, Warburg, and Recluse's Victory, of course. Pocket D for access to the various vendors, the arena, and supergroup bases. These characters cannot travel to any other zones, enter trials, or teleport via LFG, get missions from contacts, or enter mission doors from other players. In return, they start at level 50. Whoa! With all incarnate slots unlocked, incarnate powers can be crafted at no cost, and patron powers do not require the patron badges. Wow. Those characters count as level 1 for the name reservation system. You cannot create a PvP character just to lock a name, kids. They still need to provide their own enhancements. There's no easy mode for that. Because their own ability to get rewards is so limited, the only available source of rewards is critters in PvP zones. The expectation is that those characters will receive influence and enhancements from other characters that are PvE enabled. The goal here is to remove the barrier of entry for players that are curious about PvP but don't want to spend the time leveling up a new character that would be useful under the PvP rules. Yes, I approve. I approve.
That's
this
pretty
is
cool.
fantastic. I have been whining for these boys to go into a PvP zone with me, and they won't. And maybe now, guys, if we can do this, now would you guys go into PvP with me? Fight me. Talking to you, Rich and Chooch.
Rich says there are no access points to PvP zones for Goldside. Yes, that's why they have them separate.
You don't think you've ever made a Bane spider, Rich? Up to it. I think that's a really great idea. People talk about there is no PvP here. Well, they're trying. You're going to have to get the money from somewhere, but you can just have somebody that's just set for that. You don't have to have a separate build. I think that's cool. Moving on to character customization improvements. We have the sheep. I can't pronounce this word. I think it's all that corn dog talk. I blame it. Sheathed weapon system for the sheathed costume weapons. I just have to pronounce it carefully, I guess. All characters with powers using custom melee weapons now have access to an option to display their character's weapon models on their costumes. This is controlled via a toggle button next to the weapon, which then puts the weapon, so like mace, and then it's got the little toggly thing. See the little... Can you zoom in on that, folks, babe?
That's pretty big.
Yeah. And it puts the weapon on the character's costume when not drawn. That's hot. Sheathed
that's awesome.
weapons are dynamically drawn by the players. Ooh, show the video. Are dynamically drawn by the characters when combat is initiated. If using a no redraw power customization option, this is skipped. Unsheath it and whack the sniper. Weapons that utilize particle effects enter an off state when sheathed, but activate when drawn for combat. Weapons that are incorporeal, conjured in nature, such as elemental weapons, do not have sheathed options. This update only applies to melee weapons. Holstered costume weapons for ranged weapon sets will come later in a future content update. There's a known issue. Some Titan weapons options don't have off-sheathed modes yet and remain activated while on the costume. That bug's a feature, I think. Then we have the custom weapon expansion. New custom weapon options. The battle axe. You've got a Vasilok butcher knife, Vasilok bone cutter, an infernal axe, and an undead slaying axe. Wait, they didn't already have the undead slaying axe? That's wild. So broadsword, Excalibur, Ricti sword 2, Vazi, butcher knife, and bone cutter. The Knives of Artemis blade, a rapier. Ooh, the Carnival of Shadows rapier. Sky Raider machete. Grave Knight sword, rusted blade, greater fire sword, and greater ice sword. So they're just spreading all this around. Okay, cool. War mace has a police baton, which is telescopic.
Ooh.
A gold bricker wrench, a jack and irons club, a power maul, a vanguard mace, vanguard magi mace, Corlax club, Corlax hammer, coral mallet, a stone mallet, crystal mallet, lava mallet, all the mallets, you guys. I challenge you to think of a mallet that's not there. The arachnid. Yeah. You win. The Arachnos Mace gets Carnival of Light, Carnival of War, and Vengeance, Rillaroo's Fury, Power Maul, Tech Mace, Tech Knight Mace, Vanguard Mace, and Vanguard Magi Mace. Titan Weapon gets Nemesis Staff, Carnival Mallet, Coralax Hammer, Coral Mallet, and all the mallets. Infernal Ice Blade. Dual Blade gets the Vazzy Butcher Knife and Cutter. The Knives of Artemis Blade. So they're just spreading all of these items all around in the options. And then Assault Rifle gets the Malta Sniper Rifle, the Cray Laser Rifle and Pulse Blaster, Richter Blaster and Richter Cannon, the Retro Rifle, which I remember being kind of cute, Resistance Rifle, Rune Soldier Rifle, Dust Cannon, Vanguard Rifle with Bayonet, and Elite Vanguard Rifle with Bayonet. I think I hit the halfway mark on the patch notes, you guys. Ninja Braids, let's see. There's a bunch of stuff for Ninja Blade. Weapon option that integrates with the sheathed weapon system. Ninja bladed weapons now draw from the back instead of the hip, adhering to the ninja theme, and have access to the same weapon options available to katana. Update involves revoking costume keys in the database, which means existing characters may need to visit the tailor to update their costume after the change. We'll be granting free costume change tokens to all characters on page 4's launch to accompany this adjustment. Munitions rifle also has some changes, and they also say, hey, free costume change tokens. And then there's custom weapon fixes. Rillaroo's Fury scale and offsets were adjusted slightly to accommodate the two-handed animations used with Arachnos maces, and then some other changes along those lines. Costumes. All icon facemaker tailors are now also cosmetic surgeon. Wow.
Oh.
All icon and facemaker tailors are now also cosmetic surgeons and renamed any surgeons to match other tailors of their type. This does not include trainers.
Yay.
That's exciting. Free 50s bring all the boys to Viv's PvP yard. Yes, 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 yes. You may now resheath your corn dog. Costume additions and changes. 4 new pattern sets have been added, contributed by volunteer at Marbing. That's at Marbing. We thank you. So we have a layer stripe, a mystic, slate, and vigilant for various costume parts. Tentable flight effects for rocket boots, flight and jump effects, and tentable flight and no effects options are added for rocket boots. Why am I sleeping on rocket boots? What the heck? Yeah, no effects option added for some of the other boots. There's a no socks option for the male huge lower body boot sneakers.
Finally.
Finally. Who wants to put on socks? All Head Detail 2 Reaper now supports 2-color tinting, replaces original single tint version. Aeon Tech Gloves allows tinting the glow. Original version now labeled Legacy. Backpacks, Teknite Capacitor, and Teknite Reactor no longer have the energy ball effects, akin to how they did Prefix. Unique tops for the female upper body. All 5 Yakuza chest textures added. Both LeBeau textures added and Carnival chest textures added. Nice. For shirts, same. Male and huge head detail 1 thunder horns option added. What do thunder horns look like? I'm curious. All Arachnos soldier, all chest detail, rogue Arachnos option. And then there's some costume fixes for the crab pack. It should no longer display on non-Evite characters. Fix applied to crab spider backpack's costume keys to prevent broken costumes. If you respec to a Bane spider, it should properly remove the crab spider backpack. Oh, that's good. Cybertech jacket long interior cape on the leather option no longer uses the incorrect metallic texture. And they've corrected a number of seam issues for Cybertech chests and gloves. Oh, they've got a bunch of costume updates for the Arachnos Widow, which is good because I've got a craving to fight her. Yep. Lots of options added. Definitely a lot of options. Eye details, hair, waist cape, boots. There's a Night Widow texture for pants, boots, cape or waist cape, gloves, and chest. 4 more hair options, and then a bunch of eye detail options that are new. And then there's stance and walk customization. So new stance customization options. There are 2. Let's see. They've been added to the power customization system by using the stance power option under the inherent category. These new stances are hybrid stances utilizing a previously unused run animation. Hardcore run animation with ninja stance, idle jump, and weapons. Blitz run animation with standard idle and weapon animations. Time to become speed. I love that little video. It's cute. So then we have walk animation customizations. Player walk animations can now be customized via the power customization system by using the walk power option found under inherent category. Previously, the 3 default walk animations were each locked to 1 body type each, but now players can select whichever fits the personality of their character best. Casual male, glamorous female, tough, huge, or zombie. I love the hip sway on that beastie on the left.
Yeah.
So that's glamorous walk on the male body and casual on the female body. I'm glad they're giving some options for that because that really matters to some people, especially, I would imagine, the role players on Everlasting.
Mm-hmm.
No, and you know what? I think the biggest reason I'm not into roleplay is that I just can't remember. What am I supposed to be right now? I'm trying to remember my power set and how they work, and you want me to remember a character? What? Let's see. Various additions and enhancements. Let's see. Rich says, I can't wait till my new corn dog emote is approved. Oh. I hope it's not the one from the Discord because, or as the kids are saying, herk. Mr. $1 Million, I can be a girl guy in real life. Yeah, I've been accused of that 1,000 times in game. Let's see, and the role players, yeah, exactly. It is not. I will unsubscribe, Rich. Rich has this crazy looking emote that he's been using on his Discord. It's kind of gross, you guys.
By gross, you mean awesome.
Chaba eating a corn dog. I'll let you wonder. So we have under various additions and enhancements. We have badges, new badges. So for completing the Sister Valeria story arc in Cimarora, we have the Shadow Out of Time. Defeat the new boss encounter on the ITF on advanced difficulty, and you'll get freezer burn. Brother/Sister of Corruption. Defeat 100 members of the Ravenna Conclave. No spoilers. Pecking Order is another badge for completing the badge mission. Lost Motivation, listed as ARC 0.42 under Champion level 25 to 29 bracket in Ouroboros. Traditionalist Spoil, complete the badge mission Revelation Rikti Factions, listed as ARC 0.43 under Vindicator bracket in Oro. Mimic, purchase a costume power using prismatic ether particle salvage. Get your pep on. Doppelganger is for purchasing 5. Shapeshifter is for purchasing 10 of the costume powers using prismatic ether particle salvage, and hologram is for purchasing the BL22C holographic matrix accolade from the Benevolabs vendor found at any vault reserve door location for 50 prismatic ether salvage. So you guys, a badge that you can literally just buy. If you have the money, you can buy the salvage in the auction house and bing, bang, boom, buy a badge. Well, it's an accolade. Let's see, badge adjustments. Strike Force badges now display a hint in the accomplishments tabs when a villain or rogue is high enough level to qualify for them, similar to Task Force badges currently do. Where the opponent now displays a badge hint to complete the flashback challenge of Lord Recluse's Strike Force found in Ouroboros after earning the Servant of Recluse badge from the normal version. And History in the Making unlocks Cimarora as an exit destination on the... What?
Oh.
History in the Making unlocks Cimarora as an exit destination on the Ouroboros zone exit portal.
Oh, thank you.
You guys, this thing right here is why I like to read you guys the show notes, because I cannot read through every line of this shit for myself. I won't do it. But for you guys, I'll do it. And this is how I learn. Oh my God. I was just bitching about that. So, History in the Making. All right, that's a good one. Temporal Strife unlocks Cimarora as an exit destination on the Ouroboros zone exit portal. So both of those. Nice.
Very sweet.
And then I bet you guys are loving that change, and nobody even told me. I was literally Aurora from Ouroboros and didn't. Let's see. Badge Fix has added alignment-specific text to the villain 3 million, 5 million, and 10 million healing badges. And the Fortunata Seer Gladiator fixed an issue where some enemies in the 44 to 54 range did not grant badge credit. That's good. Tour guide tips and missions added for all 8 Cimarora exploration badges that unlock History in the Making accolade. As with previous tour guide missions, these tips only drop from the mobs defeated in Cimarora, and only if you don't already have the exploration accolade for the zone. Each mission points you to one of the exploration badges you don't have and provides fun optional reading. Yeah. Might do that with the character I'm on right now. She's only level 2, so she doesn't have anything. Merit rewards. The Empyrean Astral Merit to reward merit conversion has been removed from reward merit vendors. For Incarnate Trials, we'll be adding a completion bonus reward of reward merits on top of the current standard Empyrean Astral Merit rewards, valuing the total of what the standard conversion would have amounted to, meaning you'll get the same number of Empyrean Astral Merits as you were before page 4, but also get the following on top. For Bath, 18 reward merits. For Lambda, 20 reward merits. For the Keys Island Reactor Trial, it's 18 reward merits. Underground is 40 merits. TPN is 30 merits, as is Minds of Mayhem and Dilemma Diabolique. And the Magisterium Trial is 22 merits. The listed above, they follow the standard 18-hour cooldown on the same character per trial. And the Astral Merit bonus reward that is granted to everyone in the league for each badge challenge completed in all Incarnate Trials now includes an added 2 reward merits.
Nice.
Giving us all the candy, you guys. They love us so much. Have more merits. Just take them. No, just take them. Supergroup bases, base item additions, removed the new tag from previously released items from page 3 and added 11 previously unreleased kitchen items from page 3. So icebox 1, 2, washing machine closed. I don't. You guys, I have to say, I don't understand why people want washing machines. Like, I'm in the game to forget about doing laundry, but I get it. You guys want to recreate places and lives and houses and
sure,
all of that. But this bitch is sending her costume to the supergroup, like, you know, cleaner. That they're taking care of it. I'm not washing that shit.
Yeah, robots for that.
We're supporting the local community and the finances of it, you know?
Oh, right. Yeah, we don't have robots. We're not taking people's jobs.
Where's the vacuum? Mr. $1 Million says. Taxi says all the spoilers or do a 4-star without ever leading one before. Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds fun, Taxi. Really fun. It sounds really, really painful. What would you say was your biggest, what was the toughest thing for you, Taxi, as far as the difference between doing a 4-star versus doing what we did before with the ITF?
Mm-hmm.
Proliferated emotes, new emotes. Added /EM defeated emote utilizing the often requested Recluse collapse animation located under actions in the emote listing. Added /EM casting, which is not holding a microphone and podcasting. It is actually a one-handed power cast animation on a cycle. /EM channel emote, which is the version of the two-handed raise cast animations on a cycle located under interact in the emote listing. Added legacy added legacy, and then they list ledge sit 5 female version of ledge sit 1 with knees together, because we're ladies, some of us, not all of us want to be ladies. And then another one for ledge sit with knees together. /EM newspaper on male characters should no longer fall out of sync with the page flipping. If you notice this occurring on female huge or NPCs, this is alignment dependent, please report it on the forums. And there will be a force feedback link on that too. If you want to know where to go to, just go to the forums.homecomingservers.com to the patch for thing, and then there will be a focused feedback link at the top for the this one was under various additions and enhancements. So if you do notice that, you know, the way we keep this game improving is by reporting stuff. So, okay. Let's see. Taxi says, lack of communication. I don't care how hard the content is. If you don't communicate, you will fail every time. But Rami fight is different, so that's harder for sure. Right on. That's what I was wondering, is if it was the Romulus fight, because that one is already challenging for a lot of people. But yeah, communication will kill any good effort every single time.
Yeah.
New role-playing and system commands, the local chat range. Did I just skip past something? They fixed emotes. So they fixed the newspaper. Calculate has had its sound removed temporarily. Inspiration label to train whistle. Yeah, they just tweaked some stuff. Winter donut added to the drenched donut. Oh, there's a winter donut.
A spooky donut.
The drenched donuts menu no longer requires a badge to unlock, and fix ledge sit emotes on female characters being sunk to yay onto the ground. I stopped fucking around with emotes because a lot of times they didn't animate the way I wanted them to. So maybe I'll play with that some more. New role-playing and system commands, local chat range, getting back to that. Commands have been added that allow you to dynamically set the range that you hear local messages and how far your own messages carry. Units are in feet. Typically, a zone's maximum local chat distance is 100. Pocket D's maximum local chat is 50.
Huh.
So you can set the maximum range that your local chat and emotes may carry by doing /speak_range. And also /listen_range will set the maximum range of local chat and emotes that you want to listen to. You cannot see set these to values above the maximums you're in. Setting the value to 0 will restore the default range. They ain't going to let you talk to yourself. Entering no number in the command will show you what your current ranges are set to. Entering no number in the command will show you what your current ranges are set to. All right, that's easy enough. So if you're on game and you want to know, type /speak_range to see what the range is that you can speak, and then listen _range. And then you can just see what it is, and you can, tweak it as you like, I suppose. Dice rolls, new /roll command added. It prints to all valid players in range of the emote channel, using system text color to ensure rolls can't be spoofed. The command can be used with a single number to roll a random number within that range. Example, /roll50 will return a random number between 1 and 50. The command also accepts dice. Oh, yay! It also accepts dice inputs up to 100 dice with 100,000 signs. That's my kind of die, baby. So example, /roll4020 will return a roll of 4 20-sided dice. /roll with no parameters will return a random number between 1 and 20. A single 20-sided die roll. That's good to know, because some people will think it's 1 to 6.
Right.
It also accepts an alternate format of /roll #x#, which would be /roll 4x20 will return a roll of 4 20-sided dice. All right. Give us an option. Appreciate it. Distance to target, the new option added to display the distance between you and your target on the target window. That's tight.
Yeah.
So their example is Jack and Irons, and it shows a little 135-foot thing. That's cute. This setting toggle is found in the options window show target distance. Can be turned on or off by using /target distance 1 and /target distance 0. There is an underscore between target and distance. What, baby?
I dig it.
Mr. $1 Million. Wait, if I can't talk to myself, how will I have any friends? Yeah, I get you. I feel you. Oh, Taxi says HC donations almost met their goal. I didn't notice they were. Well, I've been alt tabbed while we've been doing this. I guess I know. Did they fill
monthly, it? She said almost. So yeah, sure it's.
I always miss the opportunity to donate. Let's see. Architect Entertainment. The AE tutorial NPCs in Mission Arc that were formerly found in Atlas Park and Mercy have been moved to Port Oaks and Kings Row AE buildings. Custom enemy changes. PowerPoint values for all custom enemy powers have been normalized. Some power sets in the same category were set below standard point values, and some were set above. This means existing AE arcs may need adjusting if any custom enemies were using the bare minimum power selection for max rewards with power sets that were above the standard values for that type. I'm just going to skim through the rest of these, you guys, because it's our ending time coming up.
Yeah. And people that are into Architect Entertainment and doing that, they have already poured over these, right? Like, people don't casually just go into AE.
I mean, I did, but that's just for the badges. I casually went in there and created what I needed to get my badges. But yeah, other than that, I think people that are actually writing them are definitely pouring over it. And there's a lot there, y'all. So feel free to look it over in your time, and feel free to give us feedback too. Enemy group adjustments and fixes. The following NPCs now have their weapon sheathed and displayed on their costume when not in combat. I'm not going to read all those. Arachnos, there were major visual discrepancies between the contact and combat versions of Viridian and Shadow Spider that have been corrected so that they're consistent and obviously the same person no matter the context they're encountered. Becky the Tarantula Battle Mistress has been given a minor visual update and now smiles.
Aw.
So now we can actually go to her and say, you should smile more.
And she will.
And she might also punch us, because that's the usual response that you should expect when you tell a female to
Punch
smile.
to the throat. Yep.
The damage typings on a few of Lord Rayclose's melee attacks have been updated. Regent Coral has toxic claw visuals to make her more unique as an AV. And Tarantula Mistress and Tarantula Queens have more subdued toxic visual effects on their melee. Don't care about Ascendant Shield Power, but it properly animates now. Devouring Earth, Crystal Shard enemies were set to spawn at 35 minimum for reasons related to trial content. This had an unintended side effect of wildly over-leveling pets summoning from 20-something critters as level 35. As a temp fix, these critters will be reset back to minimum level 27 until a better solution can be deployed. Fixed an issue that would cause Hellion mobs missions to spawn at a higher level range than intended. Summon battle orb pets from IDF no longer drop rewards. When Jack and Iron spawns on his throne in Croatoa, there is now a 50% chance that he is sitting in a more comfortable position.
I'm sure Jack appreciates it.
Comfort's important. Jack and Iron's throne spawn give him a sleep particle effect, cons with yellow reticle, and remains non-hostile until awoken. Attack values on Ricty Monkey's standard melee and psionic ranged attacks are no longer double their intended value. That was accidentally caused by some silly sentient map server related things. Let's see. Task adjustments. There's more there, you guys. I'm not obviously reading them all. Tax adjustments and fixes. I'm sorry, that's task, not tax. Added minimap icons and waypoints to all TF-SF trial contacts in the game. They are They are identified via a purple book icon on the map. It's a teensy, there's a little example of it on the end of that first bullet point, Chooch, if you want to zoom in a little bit, but it's just a little purple dot with a little open book in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Incarnate trials, the BAF trial can now be started with a minimum of 8, down from 12. And can the TPN, that's good to know. BAF and TPN can now be started with 8 players. I wonder if I'll remember. The Dr. Aeon Strike Force, advanced difficulty, Smelter's Tactics, 2-hit buff now follow the same star count, stat cap rules as the advanced difficulty ITF. Anything using unresistible damage in the ASF, such as Ribble, Surges, Puddles, and King Midas's singularities, are no longer affected by damage buffs. This includes advanced difficulty stat buffs and also bypasses Absorb. Ripple, Surges, Puddles now only deal fatal damage to players, with non-player entities only taking a fraction of the damage. Golden Brickernauts can now be confused by any confused powers without fail during the self-destruct countdown. There's a whole bunch of fixes for Aeon, and it goes into detail, you guys. I'm going to leave those for you guys that really want it. It's possible that Chooch and I might finish reading these in another setting, but for now, we're just assume that this is going to be the one time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read through them and read the good ones. Fixed a broken description on Gaussian. That stuff irritates the shit out of me. So thank you. Gave the frozen scientist proper descriptions. These are all good for my lore reads. Yeah, and by the way, we're going to be starting up my stream very shortly as soon as we finish here. And it'll be myself and Chooch and Rich and hopefully Griblaja. And we've decided that we're going to run the Sister Valeris story arc in Cimarora first. And then if time allows, then we will do some Gold Side. So I totally lied when I said we were doing Gold Side. You might get this part there. Yeah, they've done a lot of fixes here. Becky, the Tarantula Battle Mistress, is very pleased with her new look and now smiles. Ooh, King Midas is now immune to Mez effects until he gets moved into a cauldron to prevent him from getting mezzed outside of one and interrupting the fight's flow. That's good. That seems like a big help. Katie Hannon, TF's got some fixes to the second mission, fixes Amy Johnson's AI to not attempt kneeling after being rescued in the cave map. Fly removed from Amy Johnson's power repertoire, ensuring she follows on foot. Hate it. Increased her tether range and the range in which she looks for a leader to follow. That's good. This should resolve the single most common issue our GMs get tickets for. So people complain about this one.
Huh.
Oh, wait, mission 2. Is that the one? Because I'm thinking of the one where you go and you save her soul, and then you can just fly up to the top, and she doesn't aggro anything because you fly above to the mission thing. But I'm probably thinking of the wrong one. The Sutter TF issue fixes. They did a fix to Terracos. It's small stuff. Rest in peace. So they fixed an issue after the Kawago AV is defeated in the Cavern of Transcendence trial. The minions of Igneous Ambushes will stop spawning. Sad. That makes me sad. Infinitely respawning Ricti enemies in the abandoned sewer trial now correctly do not give rewards, matching other infinitely respawning mobs. Sad. Let's see. Story arcs Keldians, Nictus Insurrection got some fixes. Updated details per Nictus lore developments. Daedalus Stolen Power has some fixes. And alignment tip missions. Even Sheridan's arc. City adjustments and fixes, you guys. They worked so hard. I wish I could read all of these through, but to do that, I'd have to cancel our game stream. We've got 2 folks that are waiting for us.
We got Greb in chat. Hey there, Greb.
Hey, Greb. I'm sorry. I'm a slow reader. It's a lot of notes.
And we started late. Go figure.
Yeah. Chooch was having all kinds of problems with OBS. Chooch, would you give some shout outs in the chat, please?
Sure.
After a fierce bidding war for the contract to the building south of Wentworth's, Freedom Corp has managed to secure rights to a structure over Cray Industries began renovating. Okay, yada yada talk. Fort Trident is now accessed by the front door on this new building, pictured below. This is seen via a marker on the mini-map. And this is Atlas Park. Shining Stars tutorial mission has been updated to visit the nearby Vault Reserve building instead of the AE building. And the mini-map has been updated. After ignoring workplace safety codes for many years, Aeon Corp's entertainment facility on Mercy Island has been completely immolated after an unexpected fire consumed the entire structure in what was described as a raging inferno. W. Spider reporters have asked locals for their take on this sudden turn of events, to which many answered, "We're surprised it didn't happen sooner." Armored drones have secured the wreckage site while investigations behind the cause of this accident are investigated. So that explains what they're doing with that. And then Talos Island, that formerly instanced Luau roleplay area has been formally added to Talos Island near Spanky's Boardwalk. There is a Taylor present there, which has a mini-map icon. The old instance Luau zone is no longer accessible and has been removed from Nola Gold's dialogue options. Characters who were logged out there will find themselves in Pocket D after page 4 launches. So yeah, go to Talos for it now, y'all. It's on the mini-map too. Port Oaks has Blackbeard's Pub. It's finally reopened. Accessible through, it's now accessible via the front door or new hidden sewer tunnel entrance in Port Oaks. Yeah, so that's where that is. Echo Plaza has been spruced up. Various ambient sounds, Arachnos flyer, and a new loading screen for the zone. That's nice. And Ricti Warzone Vanguard conference room, the door located near the villain portal. And the infirmary is now linked to the Vanguard's conference room for use of players for RP gatherings. If lucky, you may happen upon a familiar face to have a chat with upon entering the room. Ouroboros, of course, has that great new thing. You can unlock Cimarora as a travel destination in the Ouroboros exit portal by earning the History in the Making Cimarora Exploration Accolade Badge, or by earning Temporal Strife by completing the Imperious Task Force. Bunch of zone adjustments and fixes. Invention tables are added inside the vault reserve location. The candy cane vendor and Trina the body sculptures are being sunken into the floor, and Pocket D has been fixed. Overhead lights that were off center, all kinds of things, you guys. They are pouring over this code to make it better for us. And don't we appreciate it, you guys?
I do.
We removed the infinitely barfing guy from the red side area in Pocket D, whose vomiting sounds make it unpleasant to roleplay in that half of the zone. He's been gently reported off the premises and delivered to a proper medical facility to receive treatment for over a decade's worth of alcohol poisoning.
Nice.
That's like that guy at the Foo Fighter concert we went to, just puking. Anyways, Echo Plaza, numerous geometry errors. Steel Canyon removed geometry found out of bounds on Steel Canyon that would cause invasion GMs to spawn outside the map.
Ooh.
Firebase Zulu, Kappa Diablo. Yeah. Fixed a gap in the ceiling at Studio 55 that could allow guests to escape into the void. That's sadness. Yeah. And then there's some game client adjustments and fixes. Fixed a code issue with generator randomization that was causing map server crashes.
Oh, wow. That's big.
Yeah. Fixed an issue that made it possible to enter and open doors from unintended distances. Powers that play on each target that is hit will no longer reach a deafening volume when there are many targets. Fixed many typos and grammatical errors that were reported by players. Fixed a busy string that was displaying player name instead of the player's actual name. Cool. All good stuff. And then, like I said, it was reported, I didn't get a chance to explore it, but it was reported that the DFB Death from Below trial was broken. And the next day, Tuesday, the 24th, they fixed that issue. It had prevented Lost AV from spawning in Death from Below. And they also fixed emote channel text is once again italicized in the chat window. Name checking during character creation now properly shows name from recently deleted characters as available. Fix a long... that was actually a problem. I heard somebody talking about that a little while ago. Fix a long-standing memory corruption bug in the chat system that dates back to the retail days. Thanks to the ITF run last night, who simul crashed from the new, more advanced sanity checks to catch these and submitted crash reports. Yay! And fixed a map server crash that could be triggered by a specific combination of costume parts and supergroup settings. Wow. Lots of things fixed in August. We are not ones to complain. But that's it. That's the full patch note, you guys. With skimming, let's be honest, you don't mind me skimming.
Very cool.
Mr. $1 Million, I want to know, when are they going to let us have super babies? Never, I hope. Don't want super babies.
Well, okay, so not specifically babies, but you have the huge body type, so why not have a teensy body type?
Oh, you mean like Baby New Year? I thought you meant let's have babies, like sidekicks or something.
Maybe a new roleplay option? That would get out of hand quick. But I know some people that, would really love to have a lineage option.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to sign off the webcam here and launch my broadcasting software so we can get this game night started.
Yeah. Cool.
I'll still hear me talking. You just won't see my face.
So awesome. Yeah. I can leave that there. As Viv said, we're going to go to our regularly scheduled, I was going to say Super Saturday. We're doing Gold Side content, or have been doing Gold Side. Today may be different, but usual scheduled with Trauma Train Rich and Greblaja, who are in the chat. So yeah, we normally start that up at 7 Eastern. We're running a little late. And then we're going to jump into that. Let's be honest, we always ran late when we did the podcast, rolling into that. We also do streaming on Wednesdays, Wicked Wednesdays with Trauma Train Rich. We do Red Side content. And both of those are on Vivid Muse's Twitch channel, which I'm going to raid in just a moment. And we're going to kick off those little pieces of content. Content all over the place. I don't know. It's been a while, you know how it is. But I really want to thank everybody for coming in the chat. Thank you, everybody listening on the podcast. So sorry that, we've been so flaky and been absent the last couple months. But we love you all, love the interaction, love the reviews, and enjoy doing this so much. I need to alt-tab and click over to start my raid thing. And so, yeah, every little piece of feedback and all that kind of stuff we get, we love reading through. And we'll keep on keeping on. There we go. Start the raid. And I'm going to play the little outro video and then click that raid start button. We will catch you next time there's a significant event. Next time we got patch notes or something. Well, we will be tuning in on a Saturday. So thank you very much. We'll talk to you later.
This podcast, its hosts, and websites are not in any way affiliated with NCSoft, Cryptic Studios,
Or Homecoming servers.
All views expressed are solely of the hosts and their guests.
This podcast is released under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license, which is explained in detail at CoHPodcast.com.
Good hunting, heroes.